Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are building up a very solid electrics industry. We have a shortage of telephones, obviously, which is affecting a building, but the high demand for telephones will drive growth in the industry and surely will inevitably bring the country into the electric age. Obviously, our cash flow is down a little bit, but it's going to be up a lot later as we build up the governing capacity needed to use these telephones. So, how much more? So, at this point, each government sector is producing, I think, 100 bureaucracy. Yes, 100 bureaucracy and 30 taxation capacity. So, taxation capacity in Beijing is 2070 out of 2570. So we need 500 more. Hey, law of progressive drafting. Wonderful. So that means we need an additional 34. Right. 10 is 300. We need another, like, 17 government buildings to max out our taxation capacity in Beijing. So, let's queue those in. We'll go up to 18 just to make sure we've got a little bit of a buffer. Once we finish out our electrics industries, which we are building a bunch of, and we're continuing to build more. Border violation in Guangxi. A group of Protestant missionaries hailing from Frankfurt have been caught several miles past the border of Guangxi province, which foreigners are forbidden to access. That's the 13th one we've caught in as many weeks. This one is the first Frankfurter we've come for a while. We're all trying to figure out who's spreading Christian ideas. Wait, look at these papers. This one's protected. What can we do? Does it matter? It's just a lost Christian who can't read. Our law applies, his does not. Slicey, slicey. Alright, government is holding solid. Constitutional Association is continuing to be moderate in strength. We have nearly won our war in Siam. So that's looking rock solid. My infamy is low, so I could do an annexation play or two right now just to get some countries consolidated. Ooh, and we're having another revolt in Kolhapur. Looks like, unfortunately, Great Britain was able to steal Mysore from Mysore, which is a shame. But only a part of it. Because it's being kept by Mysore. Hey, there's the destroyer. Wonderful. Hey, and we moved to voting for right of assembly, which is also excellent. Alright, we're producing heckin' telephones now, so let's grab another one of our government sectors. One of our highly populated states. We'll move out from the capital. And we'll swap them over to telephone switchboards as well. Shanxi will do the same. As you can see, this is giving us a pile of bureaucracy to play with. It's also going to improve cash flow as we continue to output the necessary telephones to support it. Arissa Northern Sarkar Suite. Oh boy, we got another war happening in Patna. It's going to require us to mobilize a small number of coastal defense armies. So, unrealized taxes are actually already down significantly, which is very, very good. As our taxation capacity goes up, this number should be improving. I think it will be once we're building enough telephones to actually support all these government sectors. Let's continue to change up government sectors to keep the demand for telecom high. I built electrics industries in Guangxi, or I am building them, so we'll make the change here as well. Now, electrics industries do not currently input electricity, but they will soon. And where was the other place I was building? Shanxi. Which is here, and I already did change those. Alright. We'll swap Henan as well. It's slowly reducing our unrealized taxes line item, which is very good, because we want that to be low as possible. Hey, law debate success. Wonderful. I'm going to ignore what's going on here in Kathiri, because it doesn't really concern me. We reduced taxes last episode, and the standard of living is going up. Rural Folk petitioned government. Representing his constituents in the Rural Folk, Tong Ji has issued a formal petition to the Qing government to pass racial segregation. One less matter for the day, sir. Members of your constituency arrived this morning. They're asking rather loudly and insistently if you would meet with them about new legislation. Well, is that it? Goodness, you look like you've seen a ghost. I'm sure I can spare the last hours of the light for them, can't I? I believe so, sir. They weren't taking no for an answer. We'll see what we can do as a petition to pass it. Offer them interventionism as a compromise, or they must understand the present situation doesn't allow for this. Salty rural folk reduce legitimacy. I'm going to go with the last one. The Emperor will not be blackmailed by his reigning interest group or anyone else. A good vintage. The wine produced in Sichuan has been lauded by sommeliers as outstanding. When people say that something ages like wine, they don't always make the distinction between wine and wine. So let me make that distinction. If you can get your hands on a bottle from Sichuan, that bottle can be more than just a good time. It can be an investment. Make this an exclusive product for export, extra prestige, or increase production to meet booming demands, extra wine building throughput. I'm going to do the first one, same as I always do. We got a lot more electrics industries being built. We're still increasing the size, but let's see if this goes up as the week ticks over, because yep, they are still increasing. Ooh, expand the applications of the telephone. I'm going to check that event. We got a revolt in Jabal Shamar, a proletarian revolt. Can't be bothered. Jabal Shamar is over here. Do you hear that too? The invention of the telephone has opened the door to great improvements in our communications, or in our electricity industry. A shiver ran down the assistant's spine when he thought he was hearing his master's voice in that cold, dusty cellar. Did you understand what I say? The man stopped, almost dropping the wooden box he was carrying. Do you understand what I say? The man stopped, almost dropping the wooden box he was carrying, dimly lit by the candles, carefully placed around the revolutionary device, half machine, half human. Yes. Come here immediately. We have something in our hands, kid. We should improve our communications, progress on radio. I should have known that sooner, because I'm actually almost done on radio. What's the other one? Just write a letter. Electricity is for the industry. Extra electrics industries throughput. Well, I want extra electrics industries throughput for sure, so I'll go with the second one. And soon we will have radio, and that will also be a huge benefit for us militarily. I can change up the government, but why would I want to? Bringing the petite bourgeoisie and armed forces in just doesn't seem practical at this time. There's our war in Patna about to kick off. There's the end of the socialist revolt in Kolhapur, and then we'll finish out with this war in due time. But actually, not quite so soon, because there's a revolt happening in Brunei. It has two fronts, unaccountably, which is interesting. We got two battles kicking off here. Looks like we're doing well in this one, and not so well in this one. But that's alright. We should be making progress in the other front, and that should give us everything we need. And there is the radio. Beautiful. Law debate success. We're up to 30%. Shouldn't be too long now. Telephones are still expensive. Let's get converting more government sectors. Because they're not as expensive as they once were, and we're continuing to output more. Again, we're crazy spiking demand, but we're also spiking supply, so that should balance out everything we need. And would you look at this? There's a radical revolt in Luang Prabang, which we also need to deal with. We're very nearly finished occupying this territory. And over here... Oh no, these are both the same front. That's weird. There's two fronts against the same country in the same state. I just need to conquer Odisha and add it to Patna. I think that's what I need to do. Do I need to bring another army down here? I don't think so yet. I think both of these armies should be able to handle it. Beautiful. Alright, so we'll grab the 4th Coastal Force and send them over here, which is where they're going. And then we'll grab the 3rd Coastal Force and we'll put them on the other front in Brunei, and that will be all she wrote. So, everything's going now. Phones are continuing to get cheaper. You know what that means. Huh. I wonder why a bunch of these places have an uneven number of government sectors. That's curious. We're getting close to having all of them flipped over. This is the last round of electrics industries we're currently slated to have into construction. Our debate failed, back down to 19%. I think I'll throw the rest of these power block statues behind the government expansion in Beijing. And there's the Brunei Radical Revolt, which we should be dealing with in good order. We'll just make sure. We've got a lot of bureaucracy to play with now. So let's go ahead and increase policing. And this is why I've been waiting to activate to go to more institutions, because now we actually have the capacity to handle them. I think I'm gonna conquer Odisha. If I conquer Odisha, will anyone step in? Doesn't look like it. Alright, so we'll send an army there. Support that. And what we'll do is we'll hand that territory over to Patna. There we go. Beautiful. Well, these armies will go there. And there is Art Silk, which allows us to produce rayon, which is a terrible material that doesn't breathe properly. But I've been told that it was revolutionary in a way for the time. So I could grab Bundelkhand as well, if I add a Conquer War goal for Bundelkhand. But I don't necessarily want the infamy. I just want to split up these fronts so that I stop having weirdness in Patna. And then I can mobilize fewer armies. I'm literally doing the politics of convenience. Is this real politic? Just looking at a moth like, is this realpolitik? So I think we're going to need to build more electrics industries, friends. So we'll start building more electrics industries. I believe we built them in Guangxi originally. Yeah. Well, I got 7 in the pot, but we'll do another expansion. We'll do the same in Beijing, where we've definitely got enough infrastructure to handle it. And we'll once again return the power block statues to the bottom of the queue. House infrastructure in Guangxi, just to check. It's absolutely fine, is how it is. And an internal affair in Tidor that Britain is on one side of. I'm going to ignore that. I don't think I need to concern myself with it one bit. Not even a little. Law debate failed. We're down to 9%. It's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Next round of Electrics Industries is about 6 weeks away from being complete. Actually, even sooner, really. I know this feels like a lot of micromanagement for something that's basically going to happen eventually, no matter what happens, but, you know, this is exciting. I've gained the capacity to kind of become a real country. Despite that, cash flow seems a little bit tough, but here's the thing. We're using a lot of the construction pool right now. Hey, we're making movies. That's fun. We're using a lot of the construction pool right now, and I think we're going to, once we're not doing that anymore, things will be easy. Oh, I'm in the middle of... like, why can't I grab Bengal? It's like, it's because I'm in the middle of a different diplomatic play. Alright. Should be good. Should be winning this battle here, and I certainly am. And I'm going to be neutral on this other diplomatic play because it doesn't concern me. Law debate failed again. Oh my gosh, we're going to take another setback. How could this happen? I can't believe you've done this. It's really my fault for booting the literati out of the government, but they were doing an ethno-nationalism, and I don't like that. Alright, number of telephones is continuing to increase. Legislative failures event once again, sponsored for rewrite. 8 weeks till the next round. So in preparation, let's increase the size of the government sectors once again. Or not increase the size, increase the methods. Still got quite a few. They're not in the new method. Beautiful. So now I'll hand that territory over to Patna. Orissa. That's Orissa, right? Yes. There we go. Now next time they have a rebellion, the structure of the rebellion will be more straightforward. Orissan unification. Orissa has emerged as a rising power in Bengal. I did it. I'm so good at things. So cool and smart. Come on, give me a good event here. Let me get my freaking right of assembly. The people need it. The people need to be able to get together. Unity depends on it. Do I have those government sectors in Beijing? Yes, I already built them. Alright, beautiful. Okay. Oh, cripes. Alright, well, we're gonna lose this, but that's a shame. That's gonna make the anarchists very mad. And we got to the third one, too. Off to the fire with the entire notion. Tragedy. That's alright. Cost of phones is down a little bit. Alright, let's convert the rest of the government sectors over to the new production method. The Great Ningxia earthquake. Well, we'll see what's going on with all this. The state of Ningxia has been reduced to ruins by an earthquake of an unprecedented scale. Countless buildings have been destroyed, and the amount of lives lost is impossible to tell. We thought the world was ending when it happened, and we weren't exactly wrong. Whole towns destroyed, entire families lost. It'll never be the same. The state will have to deal with it on their own. 40% devastation, or we should put some money into relief. $225,000 in weekly government expenses. The state will have to deal with it on its own. My economy is too large to handle disaster relief. Alright, cash flows are looking pretty good. Phones continue to be expensive, but I think this is all of the electrics industries we're going to need short term. Now, though, the tough part is we're going to need to get them producing radios for our production methods for our troops, and that actually means they're going to need to be expanded yet again. So, let me see. Shanxi was the place that I didn't expand them more. We got plenty of infrastructure available. So, let's throw them at the top of the queue and get them building there. Now, I believe I've now constructed electrics industries in 3 blocks of 20. Yes, or I will be. Radio production, this costs 50 for each electrics industry, and power plants basically produce 50 per power plant. Yes, yes. So that means I'm going to need yeah, I'm going to need 20 levels of power plants in each location with in each state with an electric industry. So, those are Shanxi, Beijing, and Guangxi. This is the easier way to do that. Oh, they don't have one yet. Well, fair enough. Wait, no. They're down here. And we will place those, once again, at the back of these electric industries, so that we can get them building as fast as we can. And then, once we've got a supply of radios, we can start upgrading our artillery. And then all will be well. That will cement our military dominance. We can also afford to go up to maxed out law enforcement, and this also means we can start incorporating new territory. North Heilongjiang will take 5 years, that's fine. North Jilin, 2 years. 5 years for Urga and Ilyastai. Tuba, Altai, Zungaria. I'm just incorporating all this stuff. Inner Mongolia, absolutely. And the Shan states. And this is practically nothing. Do we have Formosa incorporated? We do. Let me just take a quick look at, make sure I don't have any deeply unincorporated states. Where are you? You're over here. Alright. Okay, so this doesn't show ones that I've already started incorporating, or so, you know, it'll be fine. Alright. And then, the big government expansion. Once the military gets their upgrades, then the big government expansion. The United States is going after Bhutan. No, not Bhutan, Bhutan. Country in the French market, which means that France is going to be on the other side of this, for sure. A French subject? No, just a power block member. Interesting. So I could side on one side or the other with this. I don't necessarily need to, though. Spain sides with the USA. I could side with the French if I wanted to. But I'm still working on improving the size of my government and the functioning of my government, so I think I'm just going to stick where I am for now. And we'll worry about the other stuff later. I was not successful at passing right of assembly, which is a shame. Can I put this guy into leadership? No, I can't. Truly a tragedy. So there's electrical capacitors, which is going to be useful for a lot of things. In particular, once we get electric railways, it'll be really useful for getting us to electric railways. Maybe I want the other stuff first. Lost General, lost Liang Wu. Need someone new in the 3rd Field Army. Let's grab this guy. Just a couple of promotions. I don't want to necessarily over-promote a Luddite in my situation. Let's put another leader in the Plain Blue Banner Army. This guy. Hey, this guy's an offensive planner and a pacifist. Seems like a contradiction in terms, but you know. Loving this number. Loving the way this number is getting built. Very pleased overall about the expansion of the electrics industry. And obviously, our economy is getting huge right now. So I think... Sorry about that. I think maybe I want to queue in... Once the power plants are finished, I'm going to queue in the necessary government admin. Yeah. I'm going to queue in the necessary government admin. Once we get to the top of all these power plants to close this power plant spread. And then... So we'll see what we need. So Henan, we need 10 levels. I will queue in one more. Southern Anhui. I went way over in Beijing for some reason. That's okay. Southern Anhui. 30 taxation capacity, right? Yeah, so 10 levels is 300, so I need 43. Western Guangdong, I need about 15. Chongqing, 45. Eastern Guangdong, just a few. Shanxi, 30 should be enough. Hunan, 20 should be enough. I'll do a couple more in each of these. Fujian, 40 should be fine. Nanjing, 32 should be sufficient. Shuzhou, 44. Hebei, 15. Guangxi, 40. Western Hebei, 32. Xi'an, 22. Shandong, 40. Sichuan, 40. Southern Manchuria, 20. Zhejiang, 24. Jiangsu, 25. And we'll do 26. Northern Anhui, that was 30. That wasn't as many as we needed, but it was more than we needed, but whatever. Eastern Hebei, 35 should be fine. Jiangxi needs just a bunch. Nice even 60. Ningxia and Yunnan both need 10. And then we've got a couple of areas where we can live with just a small set. And that should be fine. Obviously, that's going to take forever. We got 67 pages worth of construction in here, but at the end of it, we are going to be absolutely chock full of cash. Communist revolt in Cambodia. That always goes well for everyone in Cambodia. Investment rights in Kokand, absolutely. Hey, Kokand. How about joining my power block? Beautiful. Delighted to have you. Power plants in Shanxi are still getting built. They're getting there, though. And again, this number in our cash flow is looking really, really good. Unrealized taxes have... maybe they were lower at the very start of the game, but they're certainly not lower now. Secession in Dixie. A Comanche uprising. Based. I can't get involved, but amazing. Russia's going after Kiva. Can't do anything about that. But it is what it is. So with these power plants in Shanxi coming online, we'll grab our electrics industries in Shanxi and start them off producing radios. And then the upgrade all units button, and our armies should upgrade to siege artillery. Now, I know I had quite a few of these armies defaulting to non-siege artillery. I hope this is going to fix that. Yes. It did not fix it, but we'll do that manually. Just go through here and do this one by one. Make sure that we're not... Make sure that I haven't goofed it all up. Very good. Alright, beautiful. And that's provided for a ton of additional military power. Sun, the head of the petite bourgeoisie, is retired, and they're now controlled by a protectionist, which is also fun. And there's concrete dockyards tech. That is war with the communists in Cambodia is popping off. Very good. Industrial barriers. Factories in Formosa have been reportedly placing Yuanzhu Min people into roles with incredibly poor working conditions, owing to their status as second-class citizens in Great Qing. I know. Us businessmen have a reputation for only caring about the bottom line. And that may be true for some, but the way I see it, any venture must be built on a strong foundation of values. The Yuanzhu Min people don't understand those values. How could they? They're our values. This unequal treatment cannot stand. Salty and weaker petite bourgeoisie, or they're lucky to be given any job at all. I'm going to do the first one again. It's going to make the petite bourgeoisie mad, but what are you going to do? Now. I do still technically have the ability to go to a republic. There's that war completed. But here's the thing. I don't necessarily want to, and here's why. The Fragile Unity event isn't going to finish until we've gotten the Boxer Rebellion. And that's not going to happen because we don't have any states partially occupied by other powers. So, from my perspective, I'm actually kind of completely good to go. I'm not going to complete that anyway. I don't have any sort of mechanism for completing it. So, I'm just gonna continue doing what I'm doing. Now, how's the radios market? We are producing radios, aren't we? We must be. Here we are. Yep. Radio market's doing well. Maybe I'll take a second to figure out, because I think, truthfully, some of these armies need an expansion to have a sufficiency of artillery. 5th Field Army, I'm going to build up another 35, 5, 6, 7 battalions of artillery, and then 1 additional battalion of lancers. Because a lot of these armies are a little bit short on artillery. 3rd Field Army is fine, 4th Field Army is fine. The 2nd Field Army is fine. We'll just scrap these units of shrapnel artillery, and we'll build up some siege artillery somewhere else, throwing everything out of balance. But I'll need to tolerate that because that's what we've got to do. 1st Field Army is also a little bit short. 1st Field Army is short compared to the rest of the armies. I need 10 more levels, 13 more levels of infantry. Ooh, I accidentally did 17. There we go. And then I need another 5 levels of artillery to bring them up to scratch with the rest of my field armies. Coastal forces are mostly doing okay. I should normalize these at some point. I think I'll bring them up to 30-10 forces, but I don't need that much artillery in the coastal forces. Western Guangdong missionaries. We've seen this event many, many times at this point in the campaign. I'm going to forbid our citizens from attending. Oh my goodness, a radical revolt in Chitral now. Why are my puppets so disorganized? I'm going to send one of our armies over here. Again, I don't need to mobilize an additional force. I've got this front very well covered. Russia decides the cost to be the state, and I don't need to handle that. This is Rewa. I don't need to handle that either. America is occupying Bhutan, and that is simply the way of things. These are the ones in Shanxi. Yeah, power plants take freaking forever to build. I'm seeing enemy convoys, which is a little bit of a shock. I didn't think a Burmese radical revolt would have a lot of convoys to play with, but I guess they do. Even so, I suppose that's fine. So the increase in the size of our military has improved our position on global affairs, which is nice. And we are the leading producer of telephones and radios at this point, because I believe we're the only country producing them, which is also rad. We're going to need to do a lot of electricity build up to allow ourselves to swap over to electric engines. That means our engines are finally going to be, our motor industries are finally going to be profitable. Speaking of which, in preparation, let's start making cars. You know you want to buy cars. Where's automobiles? Here we are. Market for automobiles is developed already. Ooh, and we got another explosives method available. But it takes electricity, so I'm not necessarily going to go to it right away. That should also generally improve infrastructure. And then once we've got the capacity for electric railways, that'll also provide a large infrastructure increase. Alright, so that's the radical revolt in Chitral, and then this affair in Burma should sort itself out in the very short term. And then we'll probably put a pin in the episode, because I've gone over again. But first, we'll do the public transit event, Roaring Engines. With the invention and implementation of motor transportation, the question arises, shall we focus on public or private transportation? Why should I have to sit in a bus or train with a stinky peasant? I should have my own means of transportation. The speed of the nation should not be left in the hands of the rich few. We need to keep the poor in mind. More automobiles are needed, extra motor industry throughput, and more public transportation, extra urban center throughput. You know I'm going to go with the first one, because motor industries are what we need to be expanding out here. Alright. A lot of revolts against Great Britain right now, which is just fine. I don't necessarily need to get involved in that. My power plants in Beijing are being built, and there's already some power available here, is there not? Only a little bit. Nevertheless, as we get more of these built, I'm actually going to swap the electrics industries over to producing radios. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't necessarily need to, because the radios market is doing just fine without me expanding production. Yeah. So maybe we'll wait. So I'm going to grab everything that's not, getting close to being built in terms of the power plants. I'm going to put them at the bottom of the queue. And then we'll start with our government expansion. And that will be for next episode. But, like I said, that's for next episode. For now, my nerds, I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun. And I will see you on the other side.